ready to talk about some Frankies?
Oh, yeah. Some Frankies, some Malcolms.
It was funny that when we were watching it, I definitely called him Malcolm.
Oh,
Or
multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Malcolm's going to do this. Good morning. Welcome to episode 18 of Disney Channel Original Noobies.
So why'd you decide it was the morning this time?
I don't know. I just did.
You could confuse some people listening to this late at night.
So confession, I always have the urge to say good morning.
Really?
Yeah, when we start. And I always just say hello, but at first I want to say good morning. And today I let it rip.
Did you do the announcements in your school in high school, like the morning announcements?
No, I don't know. I think when I greet people, I usually say good morning because I usually see people in the morning.
Well, yeah, you're way more of a morning person, so
yeah,
that makes way more sense.
So yeah, I always want to say good morning, switch to hello at the last minute, and today I decided I'm just gonna let it happen.
Well, good.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Oh, by the way, I'm Sam.
I think I said I'm Joanna. In case not, I'm Joanna.
We're off the rails already, so.
You're listening to Disney Channel Original Noobies. This is episode 18, and we are going to talk about the movie Miracle in Lane 2.
So when you first saw the title of this movie, did you think this was the second movie in the series Miracle in Lane?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
So you must have been very confused. Like, I'm not going to get this movie at all.
Yeah,
I never saw the first Miracle in Lane. What are we doing?
I thought maybe it's based off of a TV show called Miracle. I just didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah, so it'll get you every time. Well, the fun fact, this is actually the first movie in the series.
Whoa.
And Lane 2 refers
is the
to
number
the lane.
Of the lane?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Incredible.
They don't explain that at all in the movie.
No, they don't.
So
we're just left guessing.
Make sure we clarify that before we start.
So really excited to see Frankie Muniz.
Of course.
On screen.
See, I saw this one as a kid, so I remember that Frankie Muniz was in this. So always excited to see him. I guess this is probably before he was even in
Malcolm in the Middle.
Or maybe about the same time he started it.
I feel like he was also pretty young. Well, of course he was pretty young when he started Malcolm in the Middle. I feel like maybe he was around the same age.
So this movie came out in 2000. And he started in Malcolm in the Middle also in 2000. It started before, though. It first aired January 2000. This was May 2000.
Okay.
And this movie just generally is it's a true story, or at least based on a true story.
It said inspired by real events.
Yes, about a child named Justin Yoder, who was, I think they said, the first soapbox racer.
Yeah, soapbox racer.
Competed in some national tournament, I think is the way it went. He had a disability, which we'll get into in the movie, in our review of the movie. And in this movie, Frankie Muniz plays Justin Yoder. And it's just him interacting with his family and then wanting to win a trophy, basically. It's his biggest thing in life. Just doesn't care what trophy, just wants to win a trophy.
Yeah, he really looks up to his brother, his older brother, he's basically Todd from Alley Cat Strike. He's just good at all sports. He's the best. He's the champion.
That's a really good comparison.
Thank you.
More of a dick, though, I would say.
Yeah. But, at the end we find out that he has a good heart.
He cares too much.
Yes.
Actually, kind of is because he was kind of dickish in the beginning of Alley Cat Strike. And then he became a better guy, I would say. So, yeah, pretty similar.
I don't even think I could say that Todd was dickish. I think he was just friends with a different group, and then he was friends with this group.
Yeah, but there were scenes where, in the beginning, they were making fun of...
Oh, right. Like the very first
very
scene.
briefly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It was, more in fun. It wasn't, nothing personal, I don't think.
Well,
I don't know.
It was fun for the jocks. I don't know if it was fun for the nerds.
I think they enjoyed it. They enjoyed a good ribbing.
Anyway, so yeah, older brother, really good at sports, and I was
loving family.
In my brain, I just went Frankie, Malcolm, Justin.
Just because the kid's name
Because
is
the
Justin.
kid's name is Justin.
Right.
And Justin really wants to be like his older brother and make his family proud and, all those 12-year-old things.
Yeah, so like you said, the brother, Seth, is really good at sports. There's a mother and father. The mother is a realtor, and the father is a painter and also like a scientist.
I think he was a professor.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I
Professor
think
and
they mentioned that
painter.
in passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he works as a painter just to make some money on the side to help fund Justin's,
Medical expenses.
which is very expensive. And a good promotion for Medicare for all, which is what we're here today for. And like we mentioned before, so Frankie, I'm just going to call him Frankie because I don't know.
Why not?
Frankie, aka Justin, aka Malcolm, aka in the middle. He is in a wheelchair because of a disability, which is called spina bifida, something like that.
I think so. I didn't write down the name of his
Spina
disability.
bifida. I'm sorry.
Spina bifida.
Which is a disease or ailment. I don't know. I think it's disease where
You said it's a birth defect.
yes, where like your spine isn't like fully encompassed where it's supposed to be, and it causes a lot of issues.
It causes, I think, fluid to build up in the brain. Does that sound right?
I don't know. I didn't really look too much into it because you know me with my medical issues looking at that.
I
But
just remember they said that in the movie.
I did Google it. Don't Google it. Don't look at images. It was not good. It's all babies. It's not good. And he's in a wheelchair because his legs don't work, which is really the main thing is that his legs don't work, and he gets headaches, which means there's like spinal fluid buildup, whatever, in his brain where he gets headaches and like could fucking die.
Yeah, but he has different types of headaches. There is a headache from thinking too much, which we experience, and then the headache that could kill him, which we also experience.
Some other major characters are there's a neighbor who at first we don't know his name, but we come to know him as Vic. And
I think they say his name right away.
maybe they say the creepy neighbor. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, he
Oh,
drives
maybe you're
up
right.
and they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's old man Vic.
And he hates everyone. Is at least what the neighbors think. Is that he hates everyone.
Yeah, he's a grumpy old man.
He doesn't have kids, and he tows cars, and that's about it. Or like has an auto body shop. Not really clear what he does for a living. Definitely car related for sure.
Yeah. We find out at the end that he is a mechanic.
Right. Because he has a
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm jumping ahead.
Frankie's in a wheelchair. He also is very religious. The family's very religious, and he talks to God a lot. And God takes the form of
A race car driver.
a famous race car driver, Bobby Wade,
Yeah.
to be exact. Whenever he talks to God, it's just Bobby Wade, the race car driver, in his racing uniform. I think it's like a white uniform with like a G on the front for God, I'm assuming.
G for Bobby Wade.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
and Gatorade, I think. He's sponsored.
God is sponsored by Gatorade. Oh, no, Gatorade.
Yes. And it starts off, Frankie's like, hey, you made a mistake with me. I'm in a wheelchair. I have these, ailments. And he's like, I don't make mistakes. I'm God, which I thought was
He even
interesting.
has a shirt that says, I don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I think I need one of those.
Oh, and also during this meeting, Frankie asks for a miracle. And it seems like it actually applies to the rest of it, but it kind of relates to the rest of the movie in that it's called Miracle in Lane 2.
Yes. But the miracle he asks for initially is for God to fix him
Right.
and to make him normal.
Which is sad.
Yeah. And then God basically says, I don't make mistakes. Bye.
Yeah. And this is the first of many like daydreams,
Yeah.
visions that
Definitely daydream, which
Frankie has throughout the
seemed
movie.
to lessen throughout the movie. Like he was having a lot at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
And then towards the end, he wasn't having as many
And
daydreams.
we'll get to all of them because they're great.
All of them.
So the next scene, which is very bizarre and kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, no, I guess it kind of makes sense, but whatever. They go to a funeral of his
Great
uncle, I think it was. And he's sitting there and he's daydreaming about, hey, if I died, what would the pastor be talking about? Or the minister? I don't know what to talk.
Because, well, when the pastor or minister, whatever he is talking about the great uncle, he's like listing all of these amazing things that the great uncle did and experienced. Frankie Justin is like, I haven't really done anything.
So he daydreams that he died and he's in the casket, and the pastor's talking about all the great things he did in his life. And it's basically he's handicapped.
He's 12.
He's 12, and he had a really sweet wheelchair.
This is like the Cadillac of wheelchairs, and we will all miss his wheelchair.
And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, that was a great wheelchair.
Yeah, remember the chrome?
Absolutely.
Oh, it was such a smooth steering. It was amazing.
So he talks about the wheelchair for a while, and then in the daydream, I keep wanting to say Malcolm. Frankie's like, hey, what about me? Like, not the wheelchair, me. But he says that in real life, and everyone who's like crying is like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid?
That's probably one of my worst nightmares. Like
saying something out loud like that?
Like daydreaming and then thinking I'm saying something in my head and then accidentally spewing out of my mouth.
So it was very, very embarrassing. He's clearly very embarrassed by it. I think next we go to like, it's his brother's soccer match. It's like the championship game or whatever it is. It's not school. I think it seems like out of school.
This is happening over the summer.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because they're not in school at the time. Oh, yeah, they're not in school at all during this.
No, they're not.
Huh. It all ramps up very quickly. No pun intended.
So I guess this whole movie takes place over the course of 2 months-ish?
Yeah, 2 to 3 months. Which is very, well, it seems like a pretty quick turnaround for all this to happen.
Yeah, it does. Saying this out loud.
Yeah.
Watching the movie, I didn't care.
Me either. Didn't even cross our mind. Yeah, this is Brothers game. So the big interfamiliar issues here are Seth is getting mad at his dad throughout the movie, madder and madder, because his dad keeps missing his games. He never makes it there, whether it's for work, for Frankie, or at least his bills, more specifically, or it's for medical issues or stuff like that, or just want to do
Something
stuff for
keeps
Frankie.
coming up.
And so Seth's getting more and more pissed and upset about it. And the mother's like, yeah, you got to go to his games. What is wrong with you?
Kind of with Seth on this one. I mean, missing a game or two, it's going to happen, but at least try to make one.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
Oh, and also at this point, involving Seth, he's kind of blowing off Frankie because he has a girlfriend now.
So we get a lot of back and forth with their relationship in this movie. So I think it starts off with like typical brother stuff. Like Seth is like, I'm not going to the funeral. And Frankie's like, why do I have to go? And then they have a back and forth. And then during this scene after the soccer match, we get a little insight into the positives of their relationship where Frankie / Justin says, we have this ritual where after each game, Seth will roll me around the field.
Yeah.
And that's what gets skipped because of the girlfriend.
Yeah. They clearly love each other.
Yeah.
The brothers, so.
Yeah.
But we'll get into their fight, which is
heartbreaking.
Yeah. And this is really what comes out, that Frankie's goal is just to get a trophy. And that's like his one desire right now. No matter what, doesn't matter what it's for, he wants a trophy.
Because there are multiple times throughout the movie that there are panning shots of all of Seth's trophies.
There are trophies everywhere in this movie.
And then Justin has
multiple characters.
Oh, Justin has like one shelf in the room with 2 things on it. And that's where he's going to put his trophy.
Yeah.
He's saving that shelf.
He's psyched.
Yeah. And it's just so sad how they filmed that.
Oh, yeah. But it's funny because they live in, and they're also, they share a room.
Yeah, they do share a room.
They don't have separate rooms. So you can see from his bed, he just sees all these trophies.
Most of the room is taken. It's the trophy room
it's
that
great.
they happen to sleep in.
It's fantastic. Yeah. She sleeps in a trophy.
This is my trophy bed.
I think this is when Frankie will tell his parents that he wants to try playing baseball. And this is another daydream of the court case. This is the first of many court cases that happen within the family.
How realistic were they, in your professional opinion?
Well, see, the wigs were very realistic.
Okay.
We all wear the white wigs.
That was my top.
You have to.
My number one question was wigs.
We're all barristers under the English terminology for it. I wonder if English lawyers still wear them. They should, since they started it.
Yeah, they should.
It's bullshit if they don't.
When you go to court, do you have to speak in a British accent?
Oh, naturally.
Okay.
Of course, dear.
I hope that's not your British accent.
I'm a little rusty with COVID.
Oh, so you'll have to do it when you're in person, but you don't have to do it on Zoom.
Yes. I blame it on the bad connection. And in this court case, his brother's the judge, and his mother's representing him, and the father's representing the amorphous idea of him not playing baseball. And the Jackie Robinson thing was pretty funny, I thought. She thought Jackie Robinson
was a girl
who,
in a wheelchair.
Yes. Which, I'm just putting this together now. You've seen The Sandlot, right?
Yes.
Baby Ruth?
Yeah.
It's the same exact joke.
Except the mom knew who Babe Ruth was.
Did she mention Babe Ruth?
Yeah. In The Sandlot?
No, I'm saying the kid didn't know.
Oh.
The kid thought Baby Ruth was a woman.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah. It said, I don't know, something like,
Baby Ruth?
Yeah.
Babe Ruth?
Oh, man. Great movie. Yeah, and they decide, hey, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's try to sign him up. They go to sign-ups, and he vomits Slurpee all over to the coach of the league, or the team.
Well, first the coach is like, no.
Right.
And the mom turns into a mama bear. And then he vomits blue slushy.
Which is very gross.
I just thought about Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. Because he vomits up the blue cookie. It was the same.
So you're like, aww.
Oh, Baby Yoda.
Oh, Baby Frankie.
You don't even have to use the Force here. Just take a cookie.
I also like that the coach, who was at the desk signing people up for baseball, was wearing a shirt that said coach on it, in case you weren't sure what his job was.
If I were a coach, I also would get a shirt that said coach.
Oh, hell yeah.
And if I were coach in New Girl, I would also get a shirt that says coach.
What happened to Coach?
Remember when Coach lived here?
Oh, yeah. That was so stupid.
It was so great. Like, here's a nod that we randomly recast
Changed
after
characters.
the first episode.
And then switched, and then had him come back in.
Yeah, and then brought him back. That was great.
Oh, man.
Shout out to New Girl.
So this is when, this is my, and after baseball doesn't work out, he decides, you know what? Let me go for chess. And so he goes there to play chess. We don't see him once talk about chess, play chess, anything.
Well, he said
he was good at chess.
He said he's been practicing for 3 days. So that kind of sets up for what's going to happen.
So he goes to a tournament, which is in town, apparently.
It's in the park.
And he signs up for a younger age group because the person signing people up thought he was younger. So he's already at an advantage for being in the younger age group. And he goes to his first match, and he puts the person in check. And he's like, check. And he's like super psyched about it. And the person in check moves a completely different piece, not the king or anything blocking the original check. It moves like a bishop and moves it, put him in checkmate. He's like, oh, checkmate, you lost. And
listeners, Sam was furious.
I've never been so mad watching any of these movies.
You looked over to me and you were like, he didn't even move the piece. He can't do that.
It doesn't make any, like, if you're in check, you only thing you gotta do is get out of check.
He doesn't even go here.
That's the only thing you can do. And this fucking idiot, you know what? Maybe is showing that Frankie is so bad at chess, he doesn't even know the rules. So some kid made an illegal move, and he's like, oh, you know what? I lost.
He didn't take his hallucinogens that day, so he wasn't on.
Oh my god, I was furious at that.
Don't worry, he's gonna replay that game on the ceiling later that night and
Oh, yeah.
realize, yeah.
Absolutely. Wearing my weighted blanket. Oh,
So
that was so stupid.
Do you need to talk about this more? Because you were pretty upset about it. I want you to feel like
I got my
got all the
frustrations
anger out.
I yelled.
Yeah,
during we
you
were
did.
watching it, so.
What?
So he loses at chess and then gives it up completely. No more chess trophy.
Which is what I do.
But as he was leaving the chess tournament, he sees Vic in a parking lot with all these fancy cars around. He's like, what's going on over here? And he realizes it's like a car competition. And the way people get votes for the best car is people donate $1 to like their... It was, they literally put dollars in, right? It wasn't even like, okay.
Yeah. Like they didn't buy tickets. It was just
Yeah, I couldn't tell if they
dropping
bought tickets for $1.
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever gets the most $1 donations wins the car show.
Yeah.
And Vic is getting no donations because he's a grumpy old man.
And, well, all right. So at first, when I saw that there was a car show and that the winner was based on donations, I thought that Justin was going to enter himself in his wheelchair.
That is so...
That's what I thought.
I would have died laughing if that happened.
But that he decides he's going to go over to Old Man Vic and help him out for a price.
Yes, he gets a trophy.
With his name on it.
And so he goes to the car show and he basically plays a sympathy card. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm in a wheelchair. Let's get some donations for this amazing car. And he knows everything about the car.
Oh, Vic definitely told him what to say. He trained him. Yeah.
It's got full hydraulics. And it's got some NOS in the center console.
And Justin's like, Vic, I know things with 4 wheels. I've got this.
Well, he only has... Oh, I guess he does have 4 wheels. Yeah. I'm just realizing now that wheelchairs have 4 wheels. And not just 2. I'm just thinking now from I Think You Shall Leave, the motorcycle guys who are like super pumped if they stumbled upon a guy in a wheelchair. Wait, no, what is that? One of them? Someone in a wheelchair?
I think so.
It is,
yeah.
Do they have motorcycles there?
Oh,
they have motorcycles.
If you have not watched I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, stop listening.
Oh, please.
Go watch it right now and then listen again.
Thank you. Yeah. Watch all 5, 6 episodes, whatever it is.
Something like that. It'll go fast.
Oh. Too small.
You want that in a car?
So it turns out Vic and Frankie Muniz win the car show.
They did it. Yay, teamwork.
And so the trophy will be shipped in like a week or something like that. And Frankie spends the next week
looking
obsessing.
Out every day with his binoculars, stalking Vic.
My favorite part was when Vic... So it's a big trophy. You see it before it goes out. And Vic goes to his tiny mailbox and like opens it up. And Frankie's like, oh, it's going to be in the mailbox? And he takes out like 3 envelopes. It's like, oh, those are going to be in there. It's like, what the tiny mail? How?
They, in addition to engraving the trophy, they also shrunk it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Mm. And then you put it in water and it expands again.
Like a Beetlejuice situation with his head.
I was thinking more like those dinosaur shapes that are in capsules and you put them in water.
They're like sponges or those different... Yeah. Those are fun. Also, so just kind of a thing we didn't see before. But at one point, Seth is going with his dad to the doctor. They didn't really explain why. So Frankie's now obsessing about why he's going to the doctor. Because he sees the doctor at the car show. And she's like, oh, I didn't see your brother today. I don't know what you're talking about. So he's now doing a little investigation to see what's going on there.
What is up with Seth?
And as part of this investigation, he finds what you found very funny.
Oh, it was a strawberry flavored massage oil.
I don't know if it was flavored. I think it was scented. I think flavored gives a much different impression than the scented one does.
Really? Because I think they give the same impression.
No, because I think scented one could just be like a back massage and stuff like that. The flavored one.
Not in that bottle.
The flavored one's a little more direct, I'd say.
I mean, that was clearly in there for the parents anyway.
Of course it was. But I'm saying, like, one isn't necessarily sexual, while the other is very sexual.
I think they're both giving off the same vibe.
Disagree, but we'll move on. And he finally finds some, like, paperwork, and he calls the number on it. He's like, "Oh, hey, what type of... I'm doing an investigation for my newspaper.
That's the exact voice.
What kind of doctor are you?" And then you don't hear the answer. He's like, "That's all my questions, bye." And
Not suspicious at all.
So now we don't know the answer, but Frankie Muniz for sure knows the answer. And he's like, "This is interesting."
But we can guess the answer.
See, you knew it. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you think was going on?
I didn't even cross my mind, and I've seen this movie again. Didn't cross my mind it was a therapist. By the way, it's a therapist. I thought it was going to be some sort of like disability that the brother had. Not a mental one, like a physical one, which would result in him being incapable of doing things. Because he had the stomach issues. I was like, oh, maybe it's like a, I mean, I don't know what.
I think you said Crohn's disease.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something along those lines. Yeah. And not to say mental illness is not a
serious
hindrance
illness
to people doing things, but yeah, I just thought it'd be a different kind of disease or illness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought, oh, he's going to a therapist. All right, so at this point, Justin keeps looking out the window. When he's at the doctor, I believe, Vic drives up.
Yes.
Asks Seth, "Hey, is Justin here?" Seth is like, "Nah, he's not." So Vic drives away. Immediately after, Justin and probably his mom drive up. I'm assuming they were at the doctor.
Seconds later.
Yeah. And Justin's like, "Was that old man Vic? I've got to go over there right now and get my trophy."
He rolls over very quickly across the street. Did you think he was going to get hit by a car?
Yeah, I did.
Because the angle is showing him crossing the street. I was like, no.
Don't do it, Justin. No.
He goes in the garage because no one's answering the door, and he sees a box. It's like, oh, there it is.
Oh, no. First, he goes to the front door. Yeah, but there are stairs there. So he can't knock on the door, so he throws rocks at the door.
Right.
Which broke my heart a little bit.
But they couldn't get up the stairs.
Yeah.
Not very ADA compliant, I would say.
But then he rolls to the side of the house, goes in the garage, sees a box, decides that is the box the trophy's in.
Yep, this box on top of this like 6 foot high
shelf that's really dusty.
Yep.
That's the trophy
100%,
box. Yeah.
Definitely.
So he uses a pole
to get it down.
Yeah.
Which knocks over the shelving
onto
the fancy car. Ugh. And the fancy car gets boosted up and then rolls backwards into some garbage cans. Yeah. A lot of damage done.
I think this was the most anxious I was for the entire movie.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Knowing exactly what was going to happen.
For sure. A lot of anxiety and, like, embarrassment in, like, the first half hour of this movie.
Yeah. But most of the rest of it was pretty chill.
Yeah, I agree. And then we have the second court case, which is the mom and dad are both lawyers against.
And the jury. And the judge?
Oh, the jury is very fun. Mm-hmm. No, the judge is the brother, right?
Okay, he was the brother.
Well, the brother's still the judge, and the jury is literally... it's like 12 of them. The mom and dads, which is pretty cool. All different outfits and everything.
Yeah.
It was impressive how they did that.
I liked it. But Justin definitely... He deserved this punishment.
Oh, he was an idiot. So he now has to work for Vic, pretty much just doing whatever he tells him to do. It didn't say for how long, but for some amount of time.
Indefinitely.
And during this scene, so he starts working for him. He's like cutting hedges, stuff like that. And he's very protective of a shed behind his house. He's like, don't go in that shed. Don't get near it. Just do what I tell you to do. So we know something's up with that shed.
And I feel like if he had just made something up that was uninteresting and been like, yeah, that's where I keep the lawnmower and stuff, Justin would not have been at all interested. It's just because it was a mystery. I guess that would have, killed the entire plot of the movie. But if he had just said, yeah, that's where I keep my tools and landscaping supplies, that would have been that.
Right. And in the next couple of weeks, it kind of seems like Frankie's doing a lot of work, which is impressive for him not being able to like get up high and stuff like that. There's a lot of work on the house and outside and stuff like that. They're getting along really well. Vic seems to like him.
Yeah, he seems to like him, and he seems like a pretty chill guy.
Oh, super nice guy, yeah.
Like Justin
Destroyed
destroyed his prized possession, dropped a shelf on his car, and he's like, yeah, here, have some cookies.
Yeah. And then this is when, so again with the shed, Vic goes away to go to work or do some errands, whatever it is.
And Frankie decides now's the time to explore.
So he like wipes down the shed a little bit. He sees like a ton of trophies there. Trophies everywhere. He's like, whoa. So he goes in the shed, sees a lot of trophies, sees what are those cars called? I keep forgetting.
Box car? A soapbox car?
Soapbox car. Yep. He sees a soapbox car. And then it's like a projector. He's like, oh, let me put on this projector.
Which, impressive that he knew how to turn on the projector.
Yes.
So when they first show it, first they show the screen and then they show the projector. And when they showed the screen, it was just a sheet hung up with some clothespins. And I thought he was going to go and tear the sheet down. There's going to be something really cool behind it.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I didn't realize the sheet was up until he pushed play on the projector. So I knew what happened, but I don't think I remember that specifically. So when the projector starts playing, it's a little girl with racing in a soapbox, derby, whatever, and a mother. Did they show? And he's shown in it too, yeah.
Yeah.
So Vic, a woman, and a daughter, a girl. What did you think at the time of the connection?
I mean, it was obviously his daughter and his wife. Earlier when he was talking to Justin, he did mention that he knew a child with cerebral palsy.
Right.
And at first I thought that was his daughter because at one point he's carrying her and puts her in the car.
Right.
But then later we just find out that that's not the case.
So what did you think of her? She thought the daughter had cerebral palsy. Right?
Yeah, I thought she had died.
What did you think happened with the mother?
I didn't know if she had died or if they got divorced.
Okay, so I thought a divorce and the mother took the daughter like across the country, whatever.
Interesting.
And so that's why he hadn't seen the daughter or the family. That's why he was kind of a loner, whatever, in the house.
Oh, I don't know why I just assumed that the daughter died.
You have a dark, dark mind, Joanna.
I do.
Dark, accurate mind. So Vic gets back, sees that he's in the shed, and he freaks out more than when the car is wrecked. He like has a absolute breakdown, like screaming at Frankie. And he's like, "Get out of here! Don't ever come back! Get the hell out of here!" And Frankie wheels himself out of there, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I feel like that had to be really painful for Vic.
For sure.
Yeah.
But for Frankie, he doesn't seem disturbed by it at all, and he's like, "I want to do soapbox racing."
This seemed to really upset Vic. I'm gonna ask him for help.
Well, I guess ask his family first. Hey, can I do this? And they're like, yeah, sure, fine, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they're like, let's talk to Vic. And then he's like, maybe we shouldn't talk to Vic. All right, that is coming back to me. But he does still go over and talk to Vic.
The next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
With cookies.
You would
have been, okay, I'll help you out. Do whatever you want. If that was you as Vic.
I think I would have been more like Vic and been like, I'll think about it, leave the cookies.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Vic did say leave the cookies. Okay, so he, like you said, he talks to Vic about the soapbox derby, and Vic's like, I'll take the cookies, I'll think about it. And Frankie and his dad go to a race. I think it's the mother there too, maybe it's just the dad.
Yeah, this was a father-son outing.
Right, and Vic tags along and like to help them get started on the process. So he gives them like the overview, which is very informative. Like it helped me learn a lot about soapbox derbies. I explained the rules like in like 2 minutes, not even.
I didn't know anything about soapbox derbies.
I figured there was a weight component to it, but I didn't know about like the braking, the steering, a lot of all this other stuff. So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
So he goes over how it works, how the races work, clearly knows everything. Justin sees his female driver, and her piece of advice for him was, don't get matched against me, and like flicks her hair back. They're probably about the same age, right? A little bit of
sass. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's, age groups.
And I think Malcolm, oh my God, Frankie, well, who cares at this point? Frankie again asks about his daughter, and he gets really defensive again. Same, a little bit less reaction than last time. And it kind of cuts to him alone in the shed, just watching a video of his daughter and like being upset about it. So clearly very emotional about his daughter.
Understandably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm very defensive of my daughter too, so.
What?
Okay, and then Vic helps. So the dad's working on the car, and Vic sees him working on it. He's like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And he helps out. And clearly Seth like sees him working on it, and he feels really left out, that the dad pays attention to Frankie, but doesn't pay attention to him at all.
It goes beyond that, because now that Justin / Frankie
/ Malcolm
Malcolm has a sport, suddenly the dad has time for sports, whereas for Seth, he keeps missing the games.
Yeah, no time for Seth.
Yeah. So, at various points throughout the movie, Seth and Justin both feel like the forgotten child.
Which is basically this next scene where Seth's dad misses his no-hitter that he pitched after promising he's going to go to his his game.
His game.
Yeah.
Who's winning the match?
And he's very upset about this.
Because this was apparently a very important game. The dad promised he would be there multiple times. He actually got in the car to go and then got distracted by the handbrake that he builds for Justin.
Because his legs don't work, they put a handbrake instead of a foot brake in the car. It comes into play later on. So
not only did Dad miss the baseball game, but he missed it because he was paying more attention to Justin.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So the next day, they test drive the car for the first time, and Frankie crashes straight into a mailbox and into a tree. A tree? No, maybe the mailbox, and hits like the lawn, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, I couldn't control it. And they find out that I guess Vic finds out
the steering was messed up.
Right, which Frankie thinks Seth did it, because Seth was in the garage the night before, and he was mad about the whole situation with the father. So he's like, you know what? I think Seth did it. So he wheels his way over and gets into a huge fight with Seth.
And they both say some pretty horrible things.
Well, Seth says he wished that Justin was dead.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I wouldn't necessarily use that word to describe it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, bad. That was a bad thing.
It was a bad thing. You're learning.
Yeah.
Yay.
Cookie, please.
And Justin reveals Seth's secret in front of his friends, that he is going to see a therapist. And Justin kind of calls Seth crazy and makes him feel really bad about it.
Right. They both say horrendous things to one another.
Yeah. This was not a shining moment.
And Frankie tries to talk to God, and he's not there to talk to him. So even God's like, that's too fucked up for me, bro. And it all turns out that the dad fucked up the steering, and not Seth.
Yeah.
We finally get to race day, and Frankie's going for his first race in the car. He does not do well. He comes in second place out of 2 people, but he doesn't crash.
He finished.
Presumably for the first time. And his parents are psyched about it.
Yeah, everyone's pretty psyched about it.
Vic was there too for the first race, right?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great moment. Like, he accomplished something. He participated in a sport. And it was his first time doing it, and he finished.
And there's also a montage right after of
Oh.
him just losing a ton of races in a row.
I wrote really big in my notes montage because this was the first montage of the movie.
Was it really? Oh, yeah, it may have been. Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty far in.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So
I did.
So there's this big 8 races in a row that he loses. Again, this is over one summer. He enters all these
Yeah, and it's his
all these derbies.
It's his first summer, so it's normal that he's gonna lose.
Right.
But yeah, and it's like the middle of the summer at this point.
Yeah,
because they also had to build the car from scratch.
For sure. Yep. So it's about at least mid-July to late July, and he finally wins a race. This is the last one of the montage, I think, is him winning a race.
And from there, he's kind of on a winning streak.
Yes.
He ends up doing really, really well.
In that same derby. I think derby is the whole competition, right? In that same competition. And he gets to the final race. And he's about to start. He's talking to his dad and Vic. And Vic's like, hey, you doing all right? And he's like, looks a little bit off. Frankie does. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just ready to go. Because he like feels a headache coming on. It's pretty clear. But he doesn't want to not race in the final race. So they start. He's going. He's winning by a ton. He's killing the other driver, like so far ahead, and then he kind of like blacks out, and his car like crosses
across
over
the track and crashes.
Violently crashes.
Oh, it was
so fast.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was
and
great.
Then he's just slumped over the side.
Oh, he's out. He's totally out of it. And then they go to the hospital, and they're like, "Hey, like you had your headache." And when like your brain explodes or whatever, and you didn't do anything about it, why didn't you stop? You know what it feels like.
And he was like, but I wanted to race. And this is also where we get Seth's perspective, which was, really sweet. He's upset because Justin is in the hospital. And when he finds out that the parents are going to let Justin keep racing, Seth storms off. Justin thinks it's because Seth doesn't like him getting the limelight, but it's really because Seth is worried about Justin. And he already almost died. And
he doesn't
want him to die. Yeah.
You missed one thing in the hospital, though, is Bobby Wade, the famous race car driver, visits him in the hospital.
Yeah, he visits him in the hospital, and his parents are somehow unaware.
Well, it's not clear. I think to the viewer, it's also not clear whether or not he was actually there or was another daydream.
Oh, see, I thought he was there the whole time.
Oh, I've seen it, but it's possible it could have been a daydream because he has so many daydreams that stuff happens in.
Yeah, but in the daydreams, he's God. And here, he's like, no, my name's Bobby.
Okay, but, still. Although he does accept being called God. He's like, well, okay, but you could also call me Bobby. Damn it, Bobby!
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Oh, you went different places with that, Bobby. That's pretty good.
And this is also where he's like, oh, yeah, I know Vic. He used to be a mechanic in my pet crew.
Right. So Vic gets him to the hospital. And his parents don't believe that Bobby Wade was actually there. Like, okay, buddy.
Wink, wink.
I'm sure he was there.
He's like, but he took my bedpan.
I have here. Oh, so Vic picks up Justin after he gets home, Frankie. And they go for a joyride in the car. Is a joyride just like a ride? Or is that when you steal someone's car?
I think it's just a ride.
Okay, they go for a ride in a nice car, which he never drives in. And
he doesn't want to ruin the paint.
Right. But he does drive it.
Before.
Yes,
he says he doesn't want to ruin the paint. And then this
naturally.
is a special occasion, so he ruins the paint.
And during this drive, he opens up about his daughter and says that his daughter died in a swimming accident, second movie in a row, where someone person dies in the water. Yeah. I like to think that it's a good reason why I don't swim. And that the mother died from a broken heart, which he thinks was because of a broken heart, which is devastating. Because the mother was probably like
Probably young.
Well, actually, they're older, so I don't know how old.
Well, we don't know how long ago this happened.
I'm assuming the daughter died close to the age she is in that video.
I don't know. We have no evidence.
I guess.
We have nothing to go on.
And then he said he didn't have the courage to die, which is like crazy for a Disney movie to have in there, I thought.
This was a tough conversation.
Like, he didn't have the courage to kill himself, is what he's basically saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Wild. And he says this to a child.
Well, I mean, they've already established Justin's view on death.
Sure.
So
but I would hold that part back, I think. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I feel like Vic felt like Justin could handle this conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But Vic thanks Justin for like being there and helping him out through like these emotions and feelings and things like that, and getting him to like doing things in the world. Because before that, he would go to work, he would go home, he'd presumably work on his car, go to car shows, and that's it. He wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah,
he's kind of a shut-in.
Not living a happy life.
So he thanks Justin for getting him back out there. Oh, and also while he's driving, some like woman in her like 50s like waves at him, and he's like, "Oh,
hey."
That was so funny.
I should take this car out more often.
Oh, that was great. So they go. Oh, we didn't talk about it before. The kid who won the last race,
he dropped
out because he couldn't make it. He had a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, we don't know why. Yeah.
So he couldn't go.
It was his bar mitzvah.
His own bar mitzvah during the summer. He couldn't go. And
this was the 13th year
and they
kid.
called Justin like, "Hey, can you come in and take his place?" So he's like very excited about that. So they go to the finals in, where was it? In like it wasn't in Texas, Omaha. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, I had it mixed up. The brother has that talk with the dad about how he's worried about Justin
in the house.
Yeah.
With a voicemail. Whatever.
Yeah, had my timeline mixed up. Sorry.
Who cares? So they go to the finals, and the car on it says "just in time."
Because that's what the doctor said.
He got there just in time to not die. So you got to put that on the car. And his name is Justin.
Yeah.
And his last name is Time.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I did not think of that before. And most importantly, the person running the competition, the final derby, is the father from Donnie Darko again.
Who you again identified immediately.
He was in Horse Sense as the auctioneer. No, I'm sorry, as the investment banker, whatever. And he's the guy running the derby.
How many more Disney movies will he be in?
I hope all of them. One could only hope.
Once they arrive at the competition, we get a look at the dad of the national champion. And we know that the dad is really serious.
Is she the national champion?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I thought this was the national championships.
Well, it was, yeah. But I don't know if she won it last time.
Yeah, they said she was a multiple, 2 or 3 time winner.
So this is the girl that was at the race earlier on.
And we know that her dad is really serious.
And a cheater.
And a cheater because his hair is flat on top.
Of course.
And he also looks in Justin's car, which we found out at the beginning of the movie that's a no-no. You don't look in someone's car.
Big no-no. You can weigh the cars, but besides that, you don't look in the cars.
What's in the car is their own business.
Exactly. So presumably what happens is he tells the race officials, hey, he's got a handbrake instead of a foot brake. He should be disqualified because the car doesn't jive with the rules here.
Which is actually way better than what I thought was going to happen, because when he starts opening the car and the daughter's like, "Dad, what are you doing?" I thought he was going to disconnect the brake.
That would be genuinely the funniest thing in any of these movies if he did that.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. But then he just looks and is like,
"Oh my God.
Huh." And then puts the lid back down.
He'd be wanted for manslaughter if he died.
Oh, yeah. So really much better than what I thought was going to happen.
So Donnie Darko's father comes to the hotel room And it's like, hey, you got to get in here. There's a rules violation. Come to the judges. There's 5 judges. We're going to vote on what's going to happen. So they go down with them. They plead, hey, like, he needs a handbrake. Also, he can't stop. Like, what do you want him to do? This is ridiculous. This race is for everyone, blah, blah. And they're all going to vote no. And be like, nope, he's done. We can't have him do the race. Until
the brother shows up and saves the day. He brings the press and is like, so now that the press is here, do you all want to still ban my disabled brother from participating in this sport?
Tell the cameras that this disabled boy can't race in your race. Tell him right now. Come on, they're right here.
Do it. You know you want to.
And they're like, you can race.
We were going to vote yes the whole time. We were just warming up our arms for the nose.
Yeah. And I think another montage is Frankie winning all the races. He wins like 3 races in a row.
Yeah, he's doing really well against all these seasoned athletes.
Athletes is a fun way to put it. And he gets to the finals against the girl.
Yeah.
With Buzz as the father.
It is a very dramatic moment. They're both thoroughly tucked into their cars.
She's turtled. She
can
can't even see
a
out.
maybe a tiny slit. She
going,
really doesn't know where she's going.
She's going
using
from
the
memory.
force.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's using the force to steer the car.
And the brother gives a really motivational speech before they start. And finally they're off. And the race starts. She gets a nice head start.
Yeah.
So she's ahead by a few lengths. I don't know what they're called in this.
But this also, from the previous montage, we know that Justin is a come up from behind kind of guy.
Always a slow starter.
Yeah, always a slow start, picks up momentum.
Absolutely.
So this was in keeping with that.
And Joanna, does he win or does he lose?
Oh, he wins.
Oh, he beats
wins
her ass. And he gets his huge trophy. She's like, hey, you did a good job. Little wink.
And her dad, gives a congratulatory nod.
Yes. And I think shakes the hand of the father. Yeah. The father shake hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's softening up a little bit too.
Yep. And then I don't remember exactly what happens next, but it cuts to him talking to God, his favorite racer, Ricky Bobby Wade. And he's like, hey, what is it like in heaven? And Bobby Wade's like, oh, let me show you. Let's open this door over here. Oh my God.
Is everyone perfect?
I couldn't get over this. He's like, so he opens up the gate to heaven, and it's all angels flying around as you would expect, and they're all in wheelchairs.
I would also like to point out that they're all, the ones that we can see clearly are children.
Some are straight up children. Yeah. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. That was grim.
There's like one little girl that you see in the front.
It was supposed to be uplifting. Like, oh yeah, in heaven everyone is perfect just like you, but they're all kids.
That was terrible.
Oh, they did not think that through.
And that's kind of how it ends. And then it shows to like the real Justin.
Like he was a pioneer.
Right. They invented the brake,
things.
the handbrake's called the Justin brake because of him, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was cool stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know.
The angel children was
a
little not.
Left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So overall, what were your thoughts of the movie?
Overall, I like this movie. It was, it was fun. It was uplifting. I think there were things that they did pretty well. And, especially because it's a true story, it was definitely a story that was worth being told.
Yeah, I agree. I like the story. I like the premise of it. I think the acting was decent. I mean, Vic, the father, mother, Seth, and Frankie are all decent actors. So overall, I think it did pretty well with that. I thought it was funny that Seth's girlfriend had like one line and that was it. Because I think she had a
few conversations, but the girlfriend part only came into play during that one scene.
Yeah,
otherwise,
exactly.
she was just a friend.
A girl, yeah. Overall, I thought it was good. There were some scenes that were bizarre that kind of took me out of it, which kind of downgraded it for me. overall fine. And this is like a 2 hour long movie.
Yeah.
It
This is
went
a
it went
full
faster.
feature-length film.
It didn't feel like 2 hours when we watched it, I thought.
No, this was one of the few movies where we didn't look at each other and go, oh my God,
Yeah.
how much of this do we have left?
Right. Yeah, so it's pretty good, I gotta say, if it went that long, without being like how long we got left in this. So
Yeah, was not bored.
I don't think we stopped it at all. So
No.
it was good. All right, so some background about the movie. Or I guess some fun facts, I should say. So it was written by this guy named Joel Kaufman and Donald C. Yost. Joel Kaufman was a stock car driver. It was like one of the youngest stock car drivers to like drive a stock car or something like that. So it was interesting.
That is interesting.
The director also did Horse Sense, Under Wraps, and Brink, which is pretty fun.
I would say of those, Horse Sense is probably the only one I really wasn't into. So
Yeah, so
Good
pretty
for
good
him.
job. Yeah. There were 5 actors in this movie who were also in Malcolm in the Middle.
they're like, oh, you're here anyway. You might as well be in this movie.
So the girl's dad was in
Okay.
a few episodes.
He did look familiar.
Tom Virtue, who was the announcer, is in so much Disney stuff. He's in like hundreds of Disney shows and movies. He was in Even Stevens also. He had a big role in that. He was also in Malcolm in the Middle. Donnie Darko's dad was also in Malcolm in the Middle, apparently, and 2 others who I didn't know had like minor roles. Obviously, we talked about the chess thing already, so I'm not gonna get into it again. 'Cause it was so
Do you
ridiculous.
really want to?
And there was a song by Christina Aguilera in this movie.
I did not notice that at all.
Me either. I didn't realize any music at all in this movie. So,
Yeah, didn't make an impression. Sorry, Christina.
and the last thing is this movie was originally called Wheelies when it was in production, but they changed it to Miracle on Lane 2.
I think Miracle Lane 2 is better.
Oh, another fun thing. Justin Yoder was in one of the shots in the movie. He was in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
He was like in the crowd at one of the races, I think they said.
Nice.
So I wonder how old he was, because I don't know his age when the movie was made. But yeah, those are the fun facts. So let's get to our questions.
Yes.
Do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
Who would you ship?
Very boring. Frankie and the girl that he beat.
Okay. Yeah, that is pretty boring.
What was yours?
Mine was Mr. Vic.
Mr. Vic? Not just
Mr. Vic, Old Man Vic, and Frankie's doctor.
Oh, interesting.
Because at the
Yeah, they
at
had
the
a
car
moment.
show, yeah, she was like, "Hey, Vic," and he was like, "Hey."
That's very
Yeah.
funny.
So that's who I ship.
I should have shipped Vic and the random woman driving.
Ah,
Oh my god. I'm an idiot. All right. If you had to change one thing, what would you change?
all right. So the rival racer, I think her name was Teresa, in that very
I
last
didn't
race.
remember they even said her name, but yeah. Oh, it was written on the car or whatever. Yeah.
She is in the very beginning when they're first learning about the soapbox races. And then we don't see her again until this last race. And we find out that she lives in Schenectady, New York.
Yeah.
So why was she at that first race?
It was like a small scale race too. It didn't even seem like a big race or anything.
Yeah. And I feel like they could have accomplished the same thing pretty much if she were just at the last race. Because she's not
yes.
in any of the intermittent races.
It was fun though seeing her be like, oh, it was the rival that he met at the one time. I thought that was kind of cute. I don't know.
It would have been cute if it had made more sense geographically. Like, why was she in Indiana when she lives in New York for a race that doesn't matter?
Oh, I agree with that part. They could
and
just
I
had
don't
her.
think she even raced. Did she race?
I don't think we saw it, but she
Okay.
probably did. He just did that one race and left because he lost. But she probably won that tournament, if I had to guess.
True.
So I don't know. But
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
I wish that were tied a little bit tighter.
Just have her live in Indiana or
Yeah.
somewhere closer.
Yeah.
Totally.
How about you?
My change was the chess scene because it was just so
I
stupid.
should have just known that.
The chess scene or the wheelchair thing at the end. But yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
So this sounds a little mean, but when he crashed after he had his like brain hemorrhage, it was done so well. It looked so violent. I like audibly gasped. I was like, "What the
That's true, you
fuck?"
did.
I like got
You were
scared.
concerned.
It was like I had to be a dummy or something because like the body was flying, like
Yeah.
in the car, like bouncing up and down. We forgot to mention one scene that I really enjoyed.
What?
We were wound to watch this. At one point, he finishes a race and he's just like stopped at the end, Frankie. And he tries to get out of the car, but the back of his helmet gets caught on the back of the car. So like the strap comes up around his neck and chokes him a little bit. And he like jokingly like sticks his tongue out like. I love that they kept it in the movie. It was so funny.
That was pretty
And you
great.
didn't see it at first. I was like, did you see him choking on the? On
No,
the
I think I
helmet?
was writing down a note, so
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
missed
must
it.
have been. Oh, that was so funny.
That was great. I'm really glad we went back to
Ugh.
look at that again.
Yeah, so that was my favorite scene. What was yours?
I had two.
Okay.
So in general, the God scenes, I thought that was really
Yeah.
clever.
It was done really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The sideburns.
The sideburns. No, just he clearly looks up to Bobby Wade, and the fact that he chose this famous person as God is. I thought it was a very cool thing to do.
I agree.
My other favorite scene was when they're at the national championship and just the families sitting in their hotel room, and Frankie has an entire box of donuts on his lap and is eating all the donuts right out of the box.
And I wanted donuts very badly because of that.
Yeah. So that was my other favorite scene.
Yeah, that's a really
Yep.
good scene. And I think we're having the same answer for this one. Who would you most want to hang out with? Maybe not. Maybe we won't.
I didn't really have any standouts. I thought maybe Vic,
I had
but
Vic.
yeah, I don't know. No
Teach
one.
me about cars. I know nothing about cars.
Yeah,
Seems interesting.
that's true. So, I guess Vic.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Not Donnie Darko's dad.
I wouldn't want him to take him away from you.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. And for our hot seat, you could start again.
Do you remember a time where either or both of your parents like had to fight for you to do something or just for something?
Huh.
Or just like they had to stand up for you?
I think when I was younger, this may not be right. I don't remember specifically because I think I was maybe 8th or ninth grade, possibly. I think I tried out for the travel soccer team in my town. And there's some sort of like politics going on, and I wasn't like friends with like the coach's son or something like that. So I didn't make it onto the team because of like political reasons, whatever. And so I don't think my dad was involved. Maybe my mom had some like beef with the coach's parents, but I don't really remember. I could be completely making this up. I don't recall specifically. But yeah, something like that maybe, if that works.
Yeah, so your mom just stood up for you and said, my son should be on the team, even though he's not friends with the
Maybe.
coach's son?
Maybe. I don't even remember specifically. Something
Okay.
along those lines.
All right.
Yeah. Do you have one
Nice.
that you want to share?
So when I was in elementary school, I don't remember what grade, earlier grades, first, second, in that range, my parents started coming to my classroom, and this continued for the rest of elementary school. Every year for Hanukkah, they would come and they would read a book about Hanukkah and bring cookies and teach everyone how to play dreidel.
When they would come once a year.
Yeah, they would come
okay.
once a year. Yeah. Not all the time.
Okay.
Although coming all the time to read stories and eat cookies would be pretty sweet.
Sure.
But no, this was a once a year thing
Okay.
around Hanukkah. And this was just kind of part of my elementary school experience. And I didn't remember until recently that they started doing that, because one day I came home crying because a kid on the playground said he couldn't play with me anymore because I was Jewish.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Damn. Was he Christian or?
I don't remember.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
So then they spoke to my teacher and they started doing that.
So they were like, this kid bullied you for being Jewish. So what we'll do is we'll come to your school and make sure everyone knows that you're Jewish.
Yes. But we'll
I'm
give
just
everyone cookies. They taught everyone about what it means to be Jewish.
Okay. Very
which
cool.
is eating and gambling.
Rugula. That's what it means to be Jewish. You ready for my question?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I hope so.
Were there any specific, like, reoccurring daydreams you recall having as a kid? Like he was having the God ones.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I had reoccurring themes in daydreams. Like I probably, daydreamed about whoever my crush was, or I daydreamed about being popular,
Or like imaginary friends, anything like that.
Not that I can recall.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm sure that I did. I just don't remember. Yeah.
Wow, that's too bad.
Why? What about you?
No, like imaginary friends that I can recall. Although
We would have covered that in Don't Look Under the Bed.
my sister had an imaginary friend named Jerry. I think Jary. I don't know. Who lived in the middle of the street in front of our house. And she loved Jerry. But I used to, like on trips, I think I've talked to you about this. On trips, like there's like light posts with like the wires that like dip down, whatever. I'd always like pretend there's two different things with like a video game basically. One was like a monkey hanging and swinging from the wire. So I like move my head swinging back and forth like a monkey doing it. Or like Brink, it was a skateboarder who is skating like a half pipe like down and up the wires. So like grinding on it.
I would like to state for the record that Brink was rollerblading and not skateboarding.
Oh, that's true. It was like the boy interest in Rip Girls.
Yes. Thank you.
There was skateboarding though.
Yeah, they didn't like the skateboarders though.
Yeah, but they got into a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
the
skateboarding.
30-year-old
Okay,
skateboarders.
there was skateboarding. Okay.
But you said like Brink.
Gosh, like the movie Brink, not like Brink the character. I would have said Brink Brinkerton if I was talking with the character. I'm looking at the first page of my notes right now, and it's horse scent. And my biggest note here is Banker is the dad from Donnie Darko. Okay. What? Oh, my favorite segment, the Alexis Bledel Bechdel test.
Alexis Bledel test.
I'll ask again.
Yes.
Do you think there's anyone in this movie?
Yes.
I
don't know.
You are correct.
Is it the mom?
The main character's mom?
Yeah.
No.
Is it the dad?
No.
Is it the brother?
It is. You're not going to guess it. Okay. So the minister who was at the funeral in the beginning, his name is Jim Jansen. So he's a minister.
What a name.
It was pretty great. He's a minister in this movie. And in Gilmore Girls, he's a recurring character who's a reverend.
Do you think that's what he does in real life? And he's like, guys, I've got this.
Maybe. He was in like a ton of episodes. He was like the reverend in town. Yeah.
Good for him.
Then there's a guy named James Lashley. There's two people who in this movie plays a character called Leather Jacket Man.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
My
Literally,
favorite
that's his
character.
character name. And in Gilmore Girls, he plays Howard. No
Howard?
idea. He was in one episode, just a guy named Howard.
Oh, I thought I was going crazy.
Because being a main guy.
Yeah, I was like, Howard. What?
Yeah. And there's also like a camera guy, but that's it. And the
All
same
right.
producer as always, who's in everything.
Of course, of course.
And that ends it for the Alexis Bledel segment of this episode.
That was great.
Yeah, we got two.
Yeah.
2 hits, one major one. So okay, so now your prediction from the last movie. We just listened to it beforehand. So what we heard was you knew it was a sports movie.
Yeah.
So that helped out, but you thought it was swimming. And that it's harder to swim on the outside lanes, and lane 2 is harder to swim in, and you thought that would be the miracle here.
But then, as we said earlier, once we were off mic, I did say that I thought it was going to be race cars, but they don't stay in their lane, so I dismissed that.
Right. So next
Which
time...
should have gone with my gut.
So you're going to stick with your gut on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Next movie, you don't know the name of it, right?
Right.
Okay. It's called Stepsister from Planet Weird.
I'm going to say that this is about someone who their parent marries someone and they get a stepsister
Okay, you're going way off the rails here.
who is from Planet Weird.
Okay, protagonist, boy or girl?
Girl.
And stepsister, so girl. So 2 girls.
2 girls.
What is weird about the stepsister?
I think she's an alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the stepmother also an alien.
Oh, so it's a stepmother.
No, I'm asking, didn't you say marry someone?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say what gender. Okay, so what gender are the parents, you think?
Well, now I think that the main
I don't-
character has a
I-
father and the stepsister has a mother.
I've seen this movie. I don't know. I don't remember at all the parents.
Subconsciously, you do. I'm
Okay.
sticking with that.
So it's a father. So a girl with a father. And her father marries an alien,
Yes.
alien wife
Yeah,
who has an alien daughter.
correct.
And what happens?
Shenanigans. They meet Xenon.
Oh my god, I wish.
The crossover we all want.
Storm, isn't that her name?
Storm?
Isn't that her name in real life or something?
Oh, yeah. I don't. Kristen Storm?
Kristen Storm, yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen, one of
Something,
those two.
yeah. I think the main character is very embarrassed by her stepsister and tries to, like, the stepsister is doing all these weird things and the main character has to guide her. I'm assuming they're in middle school because all these movies are in middle school.
Sure.
Has to guide her to be normal in middle school.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
And then probably some outrageous alien things happen.
Very fun. Mm-hmm. Some things I forgot to mention about the last movie that we just did before we get the stepsister from Planet Weird is forgot to mention Seth from this movie was also in Brink. He was one of his skating buddies. Yeah. And the mother, Frankie's mother in this movie, was in Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch.
Wow.
Yeah. She's really,
Yeah,
really
made it
famous.
big.
Yeah.
Good for
Certainly.
her.
So yeah, that's
Way
all.
to keep that momentum going.
That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah.
Any parting advice you want to leave for our audience?
No, I'm just ready to eat some donuts.
We have donuts.
We have to make them.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do it.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.